parked my car, and I was walking up to one of the garage stalls. There was Charlie. And I was shocked at first because as he came out and recognized me, he put his hand out to shake. But also, I realized that we were now eye to eye. He hadn't grown and I had. Well, all sorts of things went through my mind at that point, but but I held back because of another thing. And that was, Charlie looked extremely downtrodden. He looked tired. He looked worn out. He looked depressed. So as we were talking, he told me that his business wasn't going that well. He was going into bankrupt with it. And then he continued to tell me that the failing of the business had had an impact on his marriage, and he and his wife were getting a divorce. And he just sat there so sad, as if his future would never move beyond this point. It was at that point when the entire relationship that I had with Charlie, which once was resentment and hate and anger, totally disappeared, as I felt compassion and empathy for this man. Charlie the bully was gone, and Charlie the person, the human being, was there in his stead, and I had compassion for that human being. So I tell you that because our relationships, for the most part, are a memory. Every relationship I have with every person, right now, it's encapsulated in a memory within my mind. The relationship that I have with my wife right now, she's off someplace doing something, God knows what. She is not at church. So, that's a part of my relationship with her, a little bit of uneasiness. She doesn't come to church and hear me talk. And when I tell her that, she says, I hear you talk every single morning. God says on the seventh day, give it a rest. So where was I? I don't know. I'm just going to turn to another chapter. So the three principles of relationships. First of all, every relationship is a part of us. Second, the emotional content of that relationship is equal to the emotional content of ourselves. If we take all of our relationships together and we mix all the emotions together and there's a particular flavor that comes out, that is the condition of our life and the condition of ourself. It's all about relationships. Now, most times at funerals and memorial services, I will talk about the past's life statistics. And it usually is the date they were born and then the date that they died. But in between the two dates, from birth to death, there's a dash. And I explained that that dash represents or is symbolic of every single thing that happened in the person's life, from birth to death. Everything is in there. Every defeat, every sadness, every loss, every setback is within that little dash. Every joy, every love, every victory, every success is within that dash. The dash represents a person's life, every single thing that took place in it. It's like a time capsule of sort. And within that time capsule, every single thing that happened in the person's life, there is an emotional content or an emotional consensus that reveals how the person felt overall about the life that he or she lived. Now, each of us has a birth date, but we don't have a death date. We're in the process of building that dash that goes between the two. And who knows, perhaps when we leave this earth and we go on to the next dimension, the emotional content of that time capsule or that dash is what we take with us. So if our entire life has been sad, our entire life has been angry, when we leave this world, that is what we take with us, the emotional effect that life had on us. And if you believe in reincarnation, perhaps the next incarnation is to increase the happiness or the peace within that. Or if you're a Jesus person, when Jesus died, I'm sure that his time capsule, his dash, was full of joy and love, even with the circumstances that surround his death. And so he would come back to teach, or his teachings would move forward. So this is the point. Each and every one of us is in the process of creating this dash that goes from birth date to death date. Each and every one of us, at some point in time, has had a Charlie in the Park incident. There's been some point in time when somebody has been mean to you, when somebody has been disrespectful, when somebody has hurt you, when somebody has withdrawn their love from you, and that's all the great mix that's in there. But you can have a totally healthy body and feel good in every way, but if you have a thorn in the bottom of your foot, it's going to affect the entire body. Now, it's the same thing with our body of relationships. Most of our relationships can be good and loving, and happy, and mutually harmonious, but if there's a relationship that we have that has the slightest bit of dis-ease, lack of easiness with it, and it's going to be in us, and it's going to have an effect on all the other relationships we have, because it's a part of us, it's a part of our personality, it almost becomes a part of our nature. On the spiritual path, we have two approaches. The first is to look to the past and determine, is there anything back there that needs to be healed? And what is in the past is nothing more than memories. So if there's something that you experienced as a child, it's a memory within your mind. And to heal that, you have to go to that memory, recall the incident, but then look at it with different eyes. The Charlie in the Park incident, I couldn't look at that with 12-year-old eyes, with resentment, with hurt and humiliation. I had to shift and look at it from a spiritual viewpoint where it was just two kids, 12 years old. One got a little rough with the other one in the park. And after meeting Charlie that day, I don't even think he remembered the incident. It was just part of playing around, but for me, it really hurt. But going back and seeing that, recalling that memory with adult eyes and spiritual eyes and a willingness to forgive and forget or transform it to a higher level of understanding, healed it. It allowed love to come where there was dis-ease or resentment before. The second part we do in the spiritual path is prepare ourselves for the future. And as we're moving along the path of life, if we run into a situation where we're relating to some person or something or some place and it disturbs us, the best way to deal with that is immediately. It's not to harbor it and take it along with you for days or weeks, years even, but to heal it as immediately as you can. Because what we think about grows. The more we ponder something, the bigger it becomes, it expands. And we know that what we think about is what we become most of the time. So there's a relationship in your life that continues on and on and on and on with a disturbing nature. It's going to get bigger and it's going to have a greater impact on all of the other relationships that you have. But when the fuse is lit, if you put it out immediately and you step back and let me think about this from a different viewpoint, we then come to understand that it's really all about us. This is the way I feel towards somebody, and it really has nothing to do with the way the people are. It's the way I am relating to them and how I feel about them, and that's all mine. It's to do with what I wish. So as we move into meditation, just take a few moments to stop and think, what is in my life that occasionally surfaces and causes me to act in a way that doesn't feel good, to act in a way that I don't care to be? We'll now move into meditation.